Do you want to live with the Lord or without the Lord? Welcome to the Daily Devo. I am Vince Miller. This week we are in 1 Samuel chapter 7. I've titled this chapter, Stand Up and Make a Declaration. So today we're reading verse 2, which reads, From the day that the ark was lodged at Kiriath-jearim, a long time past, some 20 years, and all the house of Israel lamented after the Lord. So let's backtrack. After the Ark of God was taken from Shiloh, guess what happened? It never returned, ever. This verse right here chronicles a very sad moment in the history of Israel because the Ark of God will remain at this location, not just for 20 years, for almost 50 years. It will stay here until King David requests that it be brought up to Jerusalem in the next book, 2 Samuel chapter 6. And sometimes I think as modern readers, when we come across a text like this, we fail to see the effects of just what has happened. So let's backtrack again. The wicked sons of Eli removed the Ark of God, defiling the Tabernacle. This meant that there was no longer a holy place for them to worship and sacrifice. Failed spiritual leadership caused a rift and a drift from God, and the consequences devastated the entire religious nation. Thus, there are 2 long decades of lament for these actions. And that is exactly what concerns me about our time and our nation. I mean, if we want to live without the Lord will allow us to live without him. If we turn to the New Testament, the book of Romans, Paul has something to say about this, and I just want to read it for you. It's a lot of verses, but it's Romans chapter 1, beginning in verse 21. Just listen up here. Paul says, For although they knew God, they did not honor him as God or give thanks to him, but they became futile in their thinking, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Claiming to be wise, they became fools and exchanged the glory of the immortal God for images resembling mortal man and birds and animals and creeping things, which is exactly what Israel has done during these 20 years. You'll see that tomorrow. Therefore, God gave them up in the lust of their hearts to impurity, to the dishonoring of their bodies among themselves, because they exchanged the truth of God for a lie and worshipped and served the creature rather than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. It reads, For this reason, God gave them up to dishonorable passions. So right now, we are in a month of dishonorable passions, where we celebrate things we shouldn't celebrate. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You can cancel me if you want. But it reads, For their women exchanged natural relations for those that are contrary to nature. And the men likewise gave up natural relations with women and were consumed with passion for one another, men committing shameless acts with men and receiving in themselves the due penalty for their error. Now, there's no question about what Paul is talking about here. He is saying that we celebrate all the wrong things and that we have turned to dishonorable passion months because we want to celebrate what God abhors. And since they did not see it fit to acknowledge God, God gave them up to a debased mind to do what ought not to be done. You see what happened there? God gave up on them. They were filled with all manner of unrighteousness and evil and covetousness and malice. They are full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, maliceness. They are gossips and slanderers and haters of God, insolent, haughty, boastful, inventors of evil, disobedient to parents, foolish, faithless, heartless, ruthless. Though they know God's righteous decree that those who practice such things deserve to die, they not only do them, but give approval to those who practice them. I mean, this is an indictment on our time, is it not? The things that we practice, the things that we talk about, think about, even do. You know, fellas, if you want moral flexibility, God is going to give you over to it. He'll let you have it, all that you want. But here's the deal. You will live life without God. And a life lived this way, without God, has all kinds of national and individual spiritual consequences. And I believe this is the time in which we live, the time of a celebration of sin rather than consecration of our hearts to a living God. But guess what? There is a way back. And to see that, you'll have to show up tomorrow right after you have canceled me. But for now, reflect on this one question. Do you really want to live life without the Lord? Or do you want to live life with him? I love you guys. I pray this has blessed you. If it has, share it with someone else and be canceled with me. And I'll see you right back here again